Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling paying for college. It feels overwhelming for so many people, right?
Absolutely. It's a huge topic.
Yeah, and we want to get you some knowledge fast without feeling buried. We're looking at insights from diversified college planners.
Right. They have a specific approach.
And our mission really is to pull out actionable stuff from this that could genuinely save you money.
And they start with a pretty compelling number, don't they?
They really do. Get this. Their average family saves close to $80,000 on the total cost. 80,000.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely gets your attention. It signals that there's, maybe more to this than the usual advice.
Exactly. It's not just fill out the FAFSA. They talk about a proven, data-driven approach that goes far beyond traditional advice.
That data-driven part is key, I think. It suggests a more strategic, maybe analytical method.
So what makes it so different? How are they getting those kinds of savings?
Well, a big piece is they focus on maximizing both need-based aid and merit-based aid.
Okay, so not just assuming aid is only for lower income families.
Precisely. That's a common misconception. They show that, well, even if you have a higher income, strategic planning can unlock merit money and sometimes even need-based aid, depending on the circumstances.
That's important. Okay, they also mentioned the SAI, the Student Aid Index. Tell us about that. Why does it matter so much?
So the SAI, it's basically the number the government and often schools use to estimate what your family can reasonably contribute. To replace the EFC.
Right. Expected family contribution, now SAI.
Yeah. And Diversified College Planner says they carefully analyze it. They look for legal strategies to lower it.
Legal strategies like what? What does that actually mean?
Things like income positioning or asset management. It's about understanding how the formula works, what income counts, how different assets are treated.
So it's not just how much money you have, but maybe where it is or when you earned it.
Exactly. Timing can matter.
Yeah.
How assets are held, parent assets versus student assets. For instance, they're weighted differently in the calculation.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about optimizing how your financial picture looks according to the rules.
That's a good way to put it. Then there's this other interesting part, their proprietary software.
Right. What does that do that you can't just find on Google or a college website?
Well, this software seems designed specifically to predict which colleges are more likely to offer generous financial aid packages to your student.
So it goes beyond just looking at sticker price or acceptance rates.
Yeah, it seems to analyze past aid awards, institutional priorities, trying to find schools that might actively compete for your student with grants and scholarships, not just loans.
Compete for them. And they even hint that some schools might actually pay your family to enroll. How realistic is that?
It sounds dramatic, but think about it. Colleges use generous merit scholarships to attract high-achieving students or students who fit specific institutional needs. If the scholarship exceeds tuition, you could potentially get money back for other expenses.
Okay, so it's about finding those specific institutions where your student is highly desirable and the school has a history of being generous.
That seems to be the goal of the software, yes, pinpointing those opportunities.
Got it. And besides picking the right schools, they also mentioned finding gaps and missed opportunities in people's existing plans.
Right. This could be about maybe overlooking certain savings vehicles like 529 plans or others, or not structuring assets optimally for aid calculations.
Like the asset stuff we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Asset repositioning strategies. The idea is to identify these spots where families might be, well, unintentionally reducing their aid eligibility.
And fixing those gaps can make a real difference.
That's the claim, that it can dramatically improve your aid eligibility, help you avoid taking on, unnecessary debt, and importantly, protect retirement savings.
Protect retirement, that's huge. Because you can borrow for college, but you can't really borrow for retirement.
Precisely. It's about balancing those goals.
So wrapping it up, the core message seems to be that smart, proactive planning really does create more options.
Yeah. It lets families aim for a great education without feeling like they had to sacrifice their entire financial future to get it.
Okay, so let's distill this. The big takeaway. Don't just react. Plan strategically, look at both need-based and merit aid, understand things like the SAI, and use tools or expert help to find colleges likely to be generous. That can unlock serious savings.
Couldn't have said it better. It's about taking control where you can.
All right. So here's something to think about. What financial levers, maybe ones you haven't considered, could you potentially adjust to make college more affordable for your family? Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.